Good morning, friends. How we doing?
Great. Happy Friday.
Friday?
Good
Friday?
morning.
It's Friday.
I think it's Friday, right?
Friday. Hopefully, we're all rooting for Team Canada right now as the men's ice hockey is on. So, exciting stuff there.
I'm hoping that, I'm proud of the girls. Like the women that played, I can't fault them. They did their best, and it was something that happened towards the end of the game. Like it's fluke, but I am really hoping our men's can get their shit together and stop getting injured, because that was heartbreaking for this country. So I don't know that we want more heartbreak.
I'm really hoping for the U.S. final. Yeah.
What'd you say, Henry?
That was a heck of a finish to the girls.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's better when you lose to not lose like that, where to not lose where you feel like you gave up halfway through or whatever. Like fighting to the end is, if you're gonna lose, that's the way to do it.
That was a fantastic back and forth game. Outside of hockey, the ones that the new sport that I learned about this Olympics, and it's actually new to the Olympics this year, is the ski mountaineering or skimo. Dude, I was loving watching that yesterday. It was incredible.
Why?
What do you mean why? Have you seen it?
I saw the diagram of what it is, and I was like, that just sounds like people that want to punish themselves. I don't understand.
As an ultra runner, it does speak to me a little bit. Like, let's just.
So what is it?
Running harder. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
When
you're on
the skiers in their skis, that reminds me of those Japanese game shows. Like, expecting for one of them to just slide the entire way down.
So Kevin, let me tell you about this here, right? So, there's different groups, but the one I watched yesterday was a sprint, so it's just one lap. So you start and you're on skis, but you're not binded into them. It's just you're clipped in at the top, so it's not like a full binded ski. You're running up 300 yards. And the elevation game is equivalent to 1.5 times Niagara Falls or the Statue of Liberty, whatever your method of measurement is. So it's a sprint up a hill wearing these skis. But then there's a transition zone. So there's the first one where you run up the hill, and then you have to take your skis off and put them in your backpack. And it's supposed to take you 6 seconds, because this is where the race is won and lost, is in the transition. So you put them on your back, and then now you have to go up a set of stairs. It's 30 stairs. And then after the stairs, you put your skis back on, you cross country up the hill a little bit more. And then you get to the part where you go down the hill. So you have what's called skins on the back of your skis. So that's what prevents you from falling down the hill as you're running up it. So you need to remove those and then ski back down the hill to the finish line. It's insane.
Took that long to explain it. Should tell you why it shouldn't exist, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's a hell of an Ironman competition, is what I just heard.
Yeah, this is one of those where
display of athleticism
around.
Yeah, exactly. What version of that could you plan for the next conference is what I'm trying to think of. That's a bit of a hill when you're on the MGM with Rob, but whatever.
You just grab 5-gallon buckets of water.
MSP GeekCon, I want to see people racing with goots on their backs.
Racing does happen at MSP GeekCon.
At least we have baseball starting back today.
There's
one.
I can't think of it. It's not baseball season yet. It's snowing outside. It's ridiculous. It's 60-degree weather last week. I ran outside in a shorts and a t-shirt, and now it's 9 degrees, snowing and super windy. So
let's see, what is it here? Looking at what the temperature is here, and then I got to do the stupid conversion.
Our freedom units.
Okay, so it is not snowing here. Oh wow, we're much warmer than you. We're 37. Is that? Yeah.
It's quite a bit warmer. Yeah, I'm good at the conversion as long as it's 42 degrees or higher. But once it starts getting into the negatives or below, then it messes up my life, because it's 9/5 minus 32. But All right. Well, you know
Just
what isn't
round.
confusing? Yeah, the stories we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and hop into them. In our first story of the day, a client refuses to use services that they are paying for. We have a client who's paying for our top tier support package. This means, among other things, they only pay for hardware, materials, or labor for projects, which is still discounted. Any day-to-day support needs, whether on-site or remote, are included into the monthly package fee. They have no reason not to call us to set up new workstations or install printers or whatever else, yet the owner insists on putting unqualified staff into an ad hoc IT role on top of their other responsibilities, and demanding they somehow do all the things that we would do for them for no additional charge. He's either fired all internal IT staff or they've left on their own. And the end result is that when they do finally call us, it's a huge dumpster fire compared to what the task originally was. It's been like this since day one, so this isn't some warning that he's looking to cut us due to perceived poor performance. I don't get it. Rest of the story, but I think we've got the gist of it. So I'm going to introduce our guest host today, Kevin. Go ahead and give us a little intro. Tell us, who you are and what you do, and you get first crack at this story. How would you handle it?
Oh boy. Yep, I'm a MSP owner, just a one-man shop for right now, and I've actually been in the MSP space for just under 16 years now. So it's one where I've seen a ton of changes. I got all the white hairs to prove it. And just in tech in general, I've been playing with this stuff for 32 years or so, and on a professional level. So I have a very, very deep IT background. It's just what I do. Right now, my business is basically just there to start focusing on the smaller side of the SMB space. Personally, I think it's one that really needs a lot of help and don't have the options. So that's what I'm shooting for. As far as this Reddit post goes, I remember reading that a couple weeks ago, and yeah, that's one I've had similar at the MSP I was at before, and it's like, why people? You're just making all of our lives more difficult. I don't get what it is. Maybe it's some kind of, the owner just doesn't want to let go, doesn't trust, doesn't do something. I mean, I think in that particular situation, we even like arranged for more frequent calls to kind of head off some of the dumb that they were going to try and do. I've also heard of other people that can, like, they'll send people on site on some frequency, so once a week. So that can kind of help. But that's one where you got to look at it like a double-edged sword, because you're going to end up with people that know that Jimmy's going to show up on Tuesday. So all IT problems wait until Tuesday, regardless of what they are. So you got to be really careful on how you walk that line. Yeah, other than that, if they're going to be that bad a client, they should probably be asked to leave, not unless they're like a huge source of your income. Then find someone else to replace them, then ask them to leave.
All right, Kevin's kicking him to the curb. Amanda, Henry, what are you
doing? Can I be the one who asks the dumb question, who says, did you turn it on and off again? Did anybody call the client to ask them why they're doing this? Because like, that's not in the comment. It doesn't say anything about why the client does this. They just say this is how it always is. But I'm not seeing anything about the conversation. And sometimes like picking up the phone and understanding where they're coming from is actually really good. And then if anybody in the office has any insight as to why they're doing this, have we called the person that usually gets tasked with it and says, hey, you know what? They want you to do this thing when they come to you and ask you to do it, call us right away. Like, I feel like this is a human issue. And if this is, to Kevin's point, someone who, pays a fair amount of money, I mean, there are some things that we can do to kind of like readdress the power imbalance without necessarily saying, hey, leave right away. Because realistically, the likeliness is this person probably likes to have someone in front of them to shout at, to say, hey, do this thing. And I don't know that it needs to be the person that does the thing. They just need to be the one that they can access and get done. So if you can find the human solution in terms of, hey, this is the point of contact that you can know where things are at, and you have all tickets travel through that person, then both people feel like they're getting what they want out of it.
Yeah, no, that's
Right? I
I think
mean,
is
this
a
is
both.
free money, really. Like,
No, don't do
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
It's not a good thing.
we all love free money,
Mm-mm.
but
yeah, you're
no,
not
I
doing
agree.
anything, and they're paying for it. You just have to deal with the annoyance. Like, come on, what are you doing here?
No, that's a reputation issue. That then they can say whatever they want about you, right? You don't want to do that either.
Just Amanda, stop being logical. Okay.
That's impossible and impractical. It's like telling Tuvok to not be logical. Sorry, but it's not happening.
No, I think to Amanda's point, it is a communication issue. But if they are operating without logic, then I would agree with Kevin that like you're going to be looking to, well, one, are they actually still profitable? Because when it does rain and they're calling and everything goes to shit, like, are you just burning through technicians' time dealing with all of that hell when that happens? So are they still truly profitable even though they're not calling very often? And then even if they are, like, clearly they don't seem to value what you're providing if they're not willing to keep that communication open and have those logical discussions. So send them a care package of Malort jerky and send them on their way.
To that point, though, I think this is like something that every MSP owner should do. And sorry for jumping back in, but I do think this is something that's important to say. You should always be, and this is going to sound ugly, but you should always be rating your clients. You should always have like your clients in this framework of, do they fit and align with our goals and what we want? And do they have the behaviors that we want? And it's not that you fire somebody like that right away. But if they're at the bottom of the pack, the next time you bring in a new contract that's roughly the same value, or you keep an eye on maybe two that would meet the same value, then you exit them, right? So like understanding where your clients are in terms of who you want to be working with, who your technicians enjoy working with, is an ongoing process. And these are the types of behaviors that you look out for that would put somebody towards the bottom of the list, that non-profitability.
So you could also maybe just, even if you can get hold of them, they might just not want to be that all covered type package anymore. If they really do want some junior over there that takes care of some of the basic stuff, renegotiate your contract for, something that's a little bit more not everything covered, and then just do it all time and material engagement. Let them figure it out. Honestly, you'd probably end up more money anyway, because they're going to be breaking more stuff, and you have to go in there and clean it up. But you can charge a higher rate for it.
Your people in anyway, though, sounds like the person is not exactly a peach to work with, which is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I say there's kind of that underwritten bit too.
All right, Josh, what are you doing? Are you going in there guns blazing?
Free money, apparently.
Yeah, it's free money. Come on, guys. No, I would, to Amanda's point, it's, the managing the relationship of the client. So figuring out why, coming up with a RACI matrix of, responsible, accountable, who's doing what really. And again, it does seem like, okay, well, maybe this person just wants that instant feedback that like, hey, you're doing this. And you can't do that unless you have an MSP staffed on site. So then it's just working with the staff over, okay, if the owner's barking orders, it all goes to this person then works with us, and establishing that line of communication. So that way it's just not frustrating for anybody, because I'm sure the people who are getting tasked with this, they don't want to do the work either. Like, it's on top of all of the other things that they need to do. So like most things in life, it just comes down to communication. So it's, better communication solves a lot of problems.
That's the quote of the night. Yay. Wow. I don't even know what's happening right now.
All right.
Well, let's
go ahead here.
Yeah. Hey, apologies. Restream is just it's on one today, but let's go ahead and our next story here. New employee demands, quote, full access to the servers. So just wondering how often this happens to others. It seems about every other month for me. I had one of my customers hire a new electrical engineer this week. Yesterday, he wanted to see all of the servers and what they do. Almost everything is cloud for this customer except for QuickBooks, which is on a virtual Linux server. So I was going through everything. He seemed pretty clueless about all things IT. He had never heard of Fortinet firewalls and wanted to know about switching to Cisco or other more well-known brand. He was not familiar with virtualization or how it worked. I showed him the web interface for the VM server, SSH into the Linux server, but he kept insisting that I show him the actual server desktop by logging in locally. This guy is supposed to be writing a web app for customers to use in-house, but available from the internet for their for their customers to use. I asked him if he needed a Windows or Linux server, and he had no idea. He asked if he would need Apache, IIS. He didn't know any of those were. I asked him about OWASP, and he had never heard of that. He's just going to use AI to write the program. I'm going to talk to the owner today, so that should be fun. This is an electrical engineer.
Yeah. Can you clarify if this is an internal employee or if this is a client's employee that they are?
It's a client.
I found this headline, but I didn't fully read the story, and boy, is this amazing.
I should have just responded back with a dumpster fire. The cute one that's like floating along with the fire coming out of it. Yeah, that's pretty much what that particular business is headed towards.
Raccoon pushing it along.
I think this brings up the point, though, like, assuming that I'm reading that right and it's at the customer, I think this is why it's so important when we're talking to our customers in kind of like a quarterly process or whatever. Like, being their advocate means that if they have to hire somebody technical, then how about we help you? How about we help you vet them? How about we help you ascertain what the right questions are to ask? Because asking how you're going to write this program and what you need in order to build what it is should have probably been part of the equation. And if it was, and they didn't know what the answer should be, then why ask it to begin with? I mean, it's going to be fine. AI is going to write it anyway. I'm sure it's going to be secure too. Are we putting customer data into this since apparently it's out on the internet towards customer? I'm sorry. I'm really broken by this question. There's a lot in here that just makes me want to slam my face into the table right now. It's that kind of day.
Just go with the vibe code. Just go with it. Go with the vibe.
Oh.
See, where I'm seeing is this is going to generate some great incident response revenue. So once again, we're back to free money. What are we doing here, guys? Come on. Access.
This is the opposite of how MSP is supposed to work. We don't benefit. We should not be benefiting. We should not be aiming to benefit off the pain of others. We should be feeling their pain. We should stop them from making dumb decisions so that they don't feel pain and that we mitigate as much as possible.
In a perfect world, yes. And then the rest of the world we live in, we end up with this dumpster fire.
No, I wouldn't. I can't.
So,
this would make me fire though. Really.
Like, in this particular scenario, like, we would have controls in place. I mean, unless the guy decides to do it on his own, but we would require, like, if we're going to be spinning up a new server, that's going to trigger a small scoped project, which then triggers change control, which then needs to be signed off on it. So if the guy doesn't know what he wants, well, we can't properly scope it and we can't make the change control, which means it doesn't happen until we get those deliverables. Additionally with this, I mean, we can assist like with recommendations, but this is also, I mean, we do make one. This is going in a DMZ. Like, this is going in a safe little sandbox where the guy can vibe code to his heart's content and not break anything. So,
I mean,
taking off my sarcasm.
Josh, he wants access to all the servers. He just wants all the logins. It's fine. He knows what he's doing. It's all good. AI will help him.
But it does bring up a good point here around like the advent of agentic AI usage is lowered the barrier to entry for people to cause their own headaches. And so what are you guys doing to both monitor and control some of that data sprawl? Because you're going to have like shadow IT, you're going to have shadow AI of usage out there where people are going to go and try and vibe code a solution and dump client data, company data into God knows where.
Henry, that's a different story, man. This is outside the scope of this story.
So, as someone who works for a company that helps with that, I like that scope. But I think it's true. It doesn't matter what solution you use. I think that you need to be keeping an eye on what people are doing shadow AI. Like you need to monitor in whatever way that it is that you do so. The reality is what people can access on the web, whether the product itself advertises it, that it's AI or not. There are many more things that are utilizing AI, and it's not always responsibly built. And like understanding what people are using in your environment is a good idea, right? Like that's true for any company out there, both us as MSPs and the clients that we work with.
And leading with education too, of like, hey, we understand. I mean, it's almost like you have a teenager who's like getting into stuff that they shouldn't. Like, hey, I'm not going to stop you from doing this because I know you're going to do it anyway. But let me tell you how to do this safely and what are the dangers if you don't do it safely. Let me help you do this safely. So,
Josh, your kids are they?
My oldest is 10, so I have a Tate.
Okay, you're getting there. Not there yet, but you're getting there.
Almost,
yeah, this is
almost.
exactly what you do with teenagers. Though there is a point where you do smack them a little bit upside the head verbally, never physically, but like there's a point where you have to draw a line.
Yeah.
I'd say I started adding just a little discussion point with my TBRs about, hey, what are you doing with AI? And by the way, do you actually have a written policy? Now, a lot of the places I deal with are like really small. So it's 1, 2, it's not many people. So it's a lot easier to keep tabs of stuff. And a policy doesn't make quite as much sense as long as at least there's an understanding. I mean, the fact that if there is a documented one, that's way better because then it's real easy to follow. But yeah, it's just like you said, it's that whole education of what can you do, what can't you do, what should you do, what shouldn't you do. It's just more education is going to help.
So we're sitting the client down and having a birds and bees AI conversation.
Pretty much.
Got it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't do it, Henry, then you know what's going to happen is there's just going to be a lot of little agentic AIs running around. So
walk into that meeting with the equivalent AI condoms. There we go.
Oh boy.
One of these hold on.
My app description of what a penetration test really is, but we'll save that for another time.
That's for the after dark version.
All right, let's get us back on track before we get into the tech bar. All right. Hopefully, well, you know what I was going to say. Maybe this has nothing to do with AI, but it could be. How can you scale an MSSP, or we'll just say MSP for the sake of the discussion, without constantly hiring more analysts? So we've been struggling with scaling. Every time we add new clients, the workload grows just as fast. Our team is already overloaded, so we keep hiring to keep up. But it's not profitable, and we'd really like to grow smarter instead of just increasing headcount. If you ran into the same issue, what actually helped? Let's see. Henry, you can go first with this one. I don't think you've gone first yet. So when you bring on a new client, you also just hire a new employee, right?
Yeah. We just throw bodies at the issues until we're out.
Or
of
you
bodies,
just scale up more AI agents. You scale up more AI agents, right? That's the answer.
Well, I guess on this topic, I would say that you shouldn't be taking on new clients unless you understand what your proper profitability and ratio is of employees per client, especially with the complexity that they're going to be bringing you. You should already know what you're going to be doing as far as hiring, firing, and stuff like that before that decision comes up. But the other piece to this that I would say is that we are seeing more and more discussion about level 1 potentially being replaced by different software solutions, AI solutions out there. And I'd be curious your guys' take on that. It's had some interesting discussions this week where people are completely cutting out some of their level 1 in triage in favor of AI solutions.
I say for me, at least on that particular topic, I really have to question how well their procedures are, how well their documentation is built out. Like it sounds like it's just running inefficiently. I mean, there's always opportunities for automation, whether that's AI automation or traditional. Either way, it sounds like just things aren't working as efficient as they are. And just like you said, Henry, why don't they understand how much a client is actually costing them, and what is the actual capacity of one of your humans versus how many endpoints you're actually protecting. Yeah, those are pretty simple things to calculate out and at least go against. As far as the AI taking over tier one, I mean, man, there are definitely ways to do it. I still just personally don't trust it enough. It's one where, man, one hallucination can make a horrible decision. And what is that going to cost you? You're still going to need somebody to look over all of it. And then it's like, oh, what's the end game then? So I just don't think it's quite ready, in my opinion.
Did you pick all the topics today, Josh, in order to create rage within me? I'm curious.
Yeah, I definitely did. Every time I'm looking at these topics, I'm like, what is going to make Amanda the most upset? Because,
Okay,
you know,
so because you hear me rant about this a lot, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it every single time until you get it in your head. AI is automation. The answer to this definitely is automation. The person should be looking at their numbers, as Henry said, and looking at how they can make it scale. But they should be looking at, how could they make the team they have more efficient to be able to capture the most? Now, how can I replace people with AI, whether it be tier one or not? You can make somebody be able to handle way more workload if you can put in proper automation. You need to look at what's slowing you down, what takes the longest, and how you can make it more efficient. Why is the answer always bodies, or just let's abdicate it to someone else? Let's outsource, let's whatever. No, let's make people smarter. Let's give them like tasks where they're going to have to turn around and be able to exercise their problem solving. We use internally before, we use like a lot of decision tree logic when it comes to looking at anything, which is basically the foundation of everything you build in automation. And at any point where there has to be human intervention, we build it, and anything else, we try to build as much automation as we can. And you can have a person who is non-technical be able to do things like password resets, but that can actually human better than a technical person to know whether or not they're being socially engineered or not. And the tech can be handled by a button. And I'm going to stop talking now because I'm going to start yelling more. Anyway. Yes, I'm bringing
that's just it though. Is like, I actually was hit up by a cold caller message, whatever, on LinkedIn about this company who's trying to bring like AI voice to take over. So like when somebody calls in, it's an AI, and you tell it the problem, and it makes the ticket, or it can do basically that whole level one thing. And I was like, our whole like culture, like our whole mission statement is we are a people obsessed MSP. That goes against the entire ethos of our company. So like, no, not interested.
Yeah.
Again, you can have people call into an actual person like that. You could take I've given this talk plenty of times. I bring up all the restaurant analogies. You can take a barista at Starbucks and set them in and give them, just tell them to, hey, use your customer service, like build a relationship, and then push this button. And if you build the automation behind it, and cool, if it doesn't work, you have techs that can fix that. But you're still like utilizing the both, and it's scaling the efficiency. You can automate a lot of tier one, but you're not removing that people aspect of it.
And
also going back to,
sorry, but like the MSSP part is giving me pause too, because like I'd argue that there's a lot of data ingestion that can happen in terms of looking at logs and whatever, but you still need the human to like ascertain whether or not the AI is hallucinating. Like no one can just like separate from the barista example, because that's great for tier one, but in the specific Reddit post, they're asking about security related things. You need to be able to make the people who understand what they're looking at the most efficient possible. So like their expertise is never going to be replaced contextually by AI in the same way, because they're thinking about 7 different things at the same time. But the buckets in which they're evaluating things from, if you could have AI summarize what's going on and give you a rough idea and parse it out, like that would make them way better at what they're doing and have to pour through things less, as long as everything looks like it should look, right? So this is
like what Kevin was saying with the processes. Like I liken this back to, again, going back to the restaurant, right? You have a kitchen, and it doesn't matter how busy it gets. I can't solve ticket times by throwing more bodies at the problem. There's so many people who can stand at the fryer or the wing station, right? But what I can affect is how quickly we can produce the outputs, right? So maybe we can sticker things more efficiently. We can set up, how we work and have the processes just done in a better way, or maybe do more prep work, etc. Like more bodies isn't going to be the answer. It is, like Kevin has said, looking at your processes and knowing them.
I was going to say, you just said prep. Like I was going to throw something out. Like I'm curious to see what their proactive side is. Like, what are they actually doing? Why are they getting so many alerts that they have to throw, or they think they have to throw people at the problem? That tells me there's something wrong prior. Maybe not just wrong, maybe just not efficient. That's prior to this reactive, like, why do I have to hire people?
From my limited, sorry, go ahead, Henry. You were talking a lot.
I was just going to say that in regards to the AI portion of this is one, I think that people are still convoluting AI and automation severely. Automation absolutely would solve a lot of this. But I think it also plays into some of the comments we had in chat about where some of the future of the industry is going to divert here into kind of two camps of these mega MSPs that are impersonable and don't have those relationships versus the more boutique that, like, we all value that customer client relationship. Most small business, medium-sized business still does, but there is going to be a place, I think, for those Walmart MSPs out there that, it's a self-scan. You're not interacting with anyone in the store. You're going in, grabbing what you want, and walking out. So I think as far as AI replacing the level one, yes, potentially it's going to happen in some of those larger Walmart style MSPs. But yeah,
you say this as those automated checkouts are starting to be ripped out of places as well. So.
Do you, random, like, just pull on that topic? Like, if you have the choice between like a cashier and a self-service checkout, like what do you guys pick? For me, it depends on how much. Like, if I have like a few things, I'm going self-service. But like, if I have a cart full of stuff, like I'm going to the cashier or the checker. What about you guys?
Also depends if it's 2 a.m. or not.
I normally go for just talking with people. It's one where, they're being paid to be there. You know what? Let's just make both of our lives a little less sucky for a couple of minutes and just try and engage with someone.
I think it depends on what I'm shopping for. Grocery store, I'm 1,000% going to the person. I don't want to bag my own shit. I'm good. I would rather have somebody do that. In fact, I purposefully shop at a local grocery store when I'm back in Niagara, and I go there because they bag my groceries, but there's also these young kids who get jobs, which I really appreciate because it's really hard for teenagers to get jobs, being able to carry it out to your car for you and help you load it in your car. And I think that's I don't know, just a nice service, but I will go to that grocery store because of that. On the flip side, to the point of whoever said the 2 a.m. comment, if I'm going to the drugstore to get something for the kids who are sick or what, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to go and get my stuff and leave. If there's a long lineup, especially, and I love them, I'm not being discriminatory, but 85-year-old grandmothers who have their change purse out getting ready to pay, I'm going to self-checkout. I'm not waiting for that. I think it's like a in the moment decision. I realize though that when we liken that to a business, you can't treat your MSP that way. And one thing I wanted to say, after listening to all that, is there will be the Walmart MSPs that use AI in that way, and the clients who want, some of the experience, that are willing to pay less money, will probably go with that way. I think that we need to acknowledge that whatever service we're providing is going to end up being attached to the price that costs to deliver that service. So, that's where the reality has to be. If you're going to offer that kind of stuff, you can't be charging premium prices.
Yeah, well, and I think in the comments too, banks are a little bit better of an analogy. Like for something that's simple, like like a password reset, or hey, I just want to check my account balance or make a quick transfer. Like I shouldn't need to go to the bank or talk to somebody for that. So that is a good point. It is a little bit different of analogy, but I like that. But let's go ahead and keep on with our stories here. So I thought this one was interesting. We'll see if it makes Amanda mad or not. What does it mean to be an M365-based MSP in 2026? I work at a small, medium-sized business-focused MSP. I'm really pushing for all of our clients to get on business premium from standard basic, as this opens up a whole new ball game. Now I am starting to run into customers that can almost utilize the E3, E5 stack. Those license costs are more than what we charge per endpoint when calculating service contracts. How are you justifying this? What does it mean to be an M365 MSP in 2026? With Premium or Enterprise Suite, you can entirely price on-prem infrastructure or improve upon drastic things with Entra, Intune, etc. Low partner percentages. How does one make profit? If I present a fully cloud infrastructure to my client, I've just doubled their expenses while having my realized profit with the way we bill based on AV, EDR licenses, physical machines, etc. Am I missing something, or am I just overthinking this? Amanda, does this upset you?
I don't know why we keep attaching things based to technology. I guess that's my first takeaway. And it's not that it makes me mad. I think it's important to understand whatever it is you're selling, but why do we have what we call an M365 based MSP? I don't know. I'm a little bit perplexed by this. I need to sit with it for a minute. I don't know if I'm
Kevin, are you a Linux based MSP? Do you
like?
Oh boy. No. That is one where, oh wow, I would charge a heck of a lot more money for supporting Linux, because nothing is the same between two distros and everything changes every couple years, and you have to fight with YAML configs, and that's just the devil's work as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, can I just rewind back one quick second for those of you who know M365 licensing? How much is E3, E5 together?
Like 30 to 37.
Yeah.
Well, 5 is like 57 or something like that. So, Amanda, thank you for bringing it up, because I was going to say, if you're only charging $30 to $50 per endpoint, you're doing
I want
something.
to now I want to compare. Add a one in front of it, and I won't hate you. But seriously, what is happening?
Yeah, Henry, what are your thoughts here before Amanda crashes out? It might be too late.
I mean, I kind of want to watch it, but we were having a discussion about this because there are rumblings that Microsoft is unhappy about not being widely adopted beyond the base 365 suite of products, that they may go the route of sharing some of our information and client information, rather, with others that they think might be able to increase those sales for whether it's Copilot and or the other Microsoft products that exist out there. So I think it's a fair thing that to talk about, because Microsoft is at least allegedly in the background discussing this. But yeah, to the point on pricing, yeah, obviously there's a major issue there. I think everyone is pretty much Microsoft centric, but it's one of those things that's like they're better than any other alternative for the most part, other than if you're looking at maybe being an Apple centric. You don't really have much in the way of other options. And unfortunately, the scuttlebutt that I've been hearing is that Microsoft is more than well aware of that, and they may use that to strong arm us.
Well, so I want to expand on Amanda's point about tying it to technology. And it goes back to, like, I want to say it doesn't matter what you use, but like there's obviously use cases, but like doesn't matter if you're using SentinelOne, Microsoft EDR, or CrowdStrike, or like doesn't matter which one of those that you use. So if you're going to go all in on Microsoft, I mean, are your techs like trained on it? Like if you're going to be the only one who understands the Defender, the Entra suite, then I mean that's not great. I mean, that's why all of these tools exist. Are there shortcomings in how you deliver your service or want to deliver your service, in that an alternative tool to Microsoft makes sense to utilize? whether it's billing processes, technical knowledge, etc. But the tool doesn't really matter. Like, yes, with Premium or E3, there are things you can do. You could replace tools that you're able to do with Microsoft, but I mean, there's like the pros and cons of doing that. And if it works out for your MSP, great. If not, it doesn't, it doesn't matter. But the other side of like, if the right answer for your clients means that you are losing money, then you might need to rethink how you're doing your billing structure. Hint, it should be based off of services and not licenses, but that's an argument for another day.
Yeah, so when I was thinking of, or when I originally wanted to start it up, Tech Brews, there was a hot minute where it's like, could I go full Microsoft like support? So basically ignoring most of the other tools and whatnot that are out there. And a lot of it just came down to, well, Intune is nice, except, you might get policies that work in 5 minutes or in 5 days, and good luck trying to figure out if it did or didn't work. But then the other part of it was when I started, and Microsoft is a profit-driven company. I don't care what anyone else says. That's what they're there to do. They're there to make money. So then the paranoid part of me is like, okay, what are they trying to push here? Get people with all the bigger licenses and whatnot. And it's like, I get it, but at the same time, they're also ignoring the smaller side of it. There was an incentive when I first started of like, you had to get net new revenue, and it had to be like a minimum of 10 seats per registered deal or something like that. I'm like, I'm dealing with companies that have 1 to 2, 3 people. I could work my ass off for 100 of these clients and get zero recognition out of it. So it's like, I don't want to be that full on. And to your point, I would still charge money for services, and then licensing comes after. So that's originally how I was going to plan stuff. But yeah, I changed after I sat down and had a good, healthy look at what they were trying to do.
Amanda, you've been quiet. Do you want to add any finishing statements to this before we move on?
No, I've been quiet because I've been practicing my breathing. Which one do I yell at first? I just need to know. Can we get consensus before I go off?
Dealer's choice.
I'm going to go with Microsoft. Let's go with Microsoft, because what you said, Henry, really pisses me off. I think this is the problem when you have giants in the industry who don't actually pay attention to what's going on in any one given sector that they're currently dealing with. Microsoft likes to look at their shares, and I really hope that somebody listens to this, but I doubt it. But it's just going to be fun for me to say it. Microsoft likes to look at their shares and how much they have of the industry, and they look at that as power, correct? But they did not get there on their own. They got there because of MSPs. They got there because of the people who were able to get people signed on and do the conversion and do the heavy lift of the support. And that would not be the case where they could keep going with this product out. Now, they want to go and find a bigger MSP that's willing to do all these things and sell all these things. That's wonderful. But to Kevin's point, not all clients are going to buy those, and you're going to lose enough of the market share because there are a lot of people that are in the ecosystem that are using it. And there will be somebody in the vacuum that picks up enough of that has enough respect for the people that are out there running businesses, because 74% of the businesses in Canada are 10 people or less, and 78% of them in the US are 10 or less. So I'm sorry, but that's so short-sighted in terms of looking at how things work. And sure, you could make enough money based on the people that are in the excess, but you need to better interface with the MSP market. You need to better interface with people that are here, because there are benefits to being in this place that you have already captured and are not maximizing in and of yourself. And you look at people like Kelvin, who have done so much amazing things in terms of what people are aware of and what they're able to do with Microsoft. Those people wouldn't be in this place if like they were being treated that way from the beginning. So this idea of profit over everything and fuck the relationship is absolutely disgusting, and I will never support it. I don't care how big you are. I still believe that the people underneath will have a revolution and rise to fight back. And maybe that's just the optimist in me, or maybe the Canadian, but I think it's so incredibly short-sighted. You want more profit? How about you stop gatekeeping security things that are absolutely necessary for people to use behind some crazy licensing, and actually like look at what people would in their environment use that would be able to, like, conditional access policies and the entire licensing around that I could spend 40 minutes on why that is dumb. And really listen to the people in your ecosystem and make your product better and an easy solution for literally everybody. You think you could have adoption now? Imagine what that would be like if you could actually be approachable to those 74, 78% of the people. Done and rent.
But our investors.
No.
Think of the
your
investors
will be happy if you did these things. Honestly, I
I agree.
But you don't get to realize those profits for like years down the road. Like the investors need like next quarter, Amanda.
This is the problem. This is the problem with shareholders. Like, they're so short-sighted, and I have an issue with. I don't have a problem with capitalism, but I do have a problem with this one. Like, it's good to recognize profit and growth, but we can't do so at the expense of the market that we're trying to operate in, and you can't do so by putting the people that are your partners out of whatever. Like Kevin not being able to be recognized because the deal isn't big enough. Sure, don't give him the same recognition as a person with 10, but you can give like small fractional points. Like be for real. Right? Because he could have 5 clients that would get to that 10 and it still wouldn't be recognized, but it's still the same dollar amount. Don't keep baiting me. I'm going to keep going.
All right. We got time for one more story.
I'm sure that Microsoft's going to listen to all of us here in the MSP space and decide to become
I wish I could
secure by default. And
I wish I could have catch them at Right a Boom and actually like sit down and talk about the sub 10 business like sector. Like, are they actually going to pay attention, or is it just more lip service? Like, is everything they're saying like, oh, we're going to help the MSP space with an asterisk of, oh, you have to have like 5 million in revenue or more for us to care about you. Like, that's not cool.
But that's not most MSPs. This is what holds back that section of the market. And the reality, and the reason why I get so mad about it is not because I want everybody to get to 5 million, but because there's always going to be MSPs operating at 500,000. But they're supporting clients. They're supporting clients who are running real fucking businesses who need protection. And if you don't help educate them, if you don't help get them to a place where they can provide something that's actually useful, we're going to keep seeing people get taken advantage of and their businesses going out of whatever. And those people still employ people. Like, I just get so raged about this because I care more that people are protected than I do necessarily about having the most profit. You need to have profit to care, but you don't need to have the most profit to do that. Like, this is why I give back to community. This is why I rage the way that I do about this stuff, because like, what are we saying? Oh, you know what? It's their fault. They didn't lock the doors to their house, that they got robbed. Like, maybe we could also look at the person who's loading the U-Haul van and call the police. Like, I don't know. There's like a duty in all of us to be able to be responsible citizens. And if you say, well, I wasn't getting paid to do that. Well, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Sorry.
Well, it's not that they didn't.
I think we all agree on this.
Hold on. It's not that they didn't lock their door.
I don't lock my door. I don't lock my door.
It's just Canada things. It's that the lock was available, but they didn't purchase it for this extra amount of money. So, they're like, well, if it's not available to us and it costs us more money, then it just, we're just going to have to live with that risk because it's not available to,
They offer only available. It's business lock basic as opposed to business lock premium that gives you the tamper resistant pins and all the other fun stuff.
Yeah,
as opposed to a zip tie.
A zip tie should never be the option. Basically, my main takeaway.
But it's a really good zip tie. It's not the Harbor Freight ones. I mean.
Also, to the person in the original post, actually know your numbers. Like really pay attention to your numbers. Go out and do some research on how you should actually price yourself, because I promise you the way you're pricing it right now is not for profitability.
It sounds like to that person, and this is kind of another topic, the person posting it is like more of the tech than an actual owner. So they are looking at it from a tech piece of like, hey, this doesn't make sense. We could, simplify our stack. But in order to do so, we would have to get rid of products, and that would lower the amount of money that we charge, et cetera. So
maybe
the advice still stands, but it is one of those like differences that, if you are an engineer not seeing the numbers, it's probably not something you understand the business sense behind those. But that still doesn't, if they're charging less than an E5 license per device, then I mean that's still another conversation to have. But all right, well, we have 2 stories left. We will save those for next week since we are out of time. Let's go ahead and talk about upcoming events and where you can find us. So upcoming, we have ASCII Edge in Costa Mesa, February 25th, 26th. Exchange March, the 1st through the 3rd in Orlando, Florida. Zero Trust World, the 4th through the 6th, also in Orlando. The IT Nation Connect Europe, March 9th through 11th in London, and ASCII Edge Dallas, March 25th, 26th. Missing from this is the GTIA CCF. I will be at that. I believe Henry and Amanda, you will be at that too. Kevin, are you going to be at that?
No, say I have another conflict. I won't be able to make that. No, I think my next trip is actually going to be Channel Pro has something in Columbus next month. So hoping to hit that up. And then after that, MSP GeekCon in May. Those are my next big ones.
I just want to say I will be holding a lunch and learn just prior to CACF for any MSPs that are interested in coming to learn about what I mean by what kind of numbers you should be paying attention to. I'll have something out probably for the next MSP Community Live where you can have a link to register. But just to give you a heads up that I'll be doing something there so I can run through some of those numbers that I've been raging about so you can use them in your own business.
Yeah, and I will. I'll be at ZTW, CCF, and Channel Pro Columbus. Channel Pro Columbus, I believe, is March 17th, 18th. So
awesome. All right.
Well,
thank you guys so much for coming on. Amanda, thank you always for your spirited defense and amazing. I mean, I love having you on the show because it's always going to be a good time. Kevin, thanks for hopping on, and Henry, always good to see you as well. So go Canada, go United States for hockey, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.
Cool. See y'all.
See ya.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.